Yeah, Blinken's trip to China, like it was supposed to happen during the spy balloon thing, and they tried to cover up the spy balloon so they could get the trip to happen, and it was just too big. And yeah, you really saw like the State Department and Biden administration bending over backwards to just, get this trip to happen, diplomacy at any cost.
Interestingly, I feel like Biden himself, his own instincts are kind of against what the State Department is doing. Have you noticed this?
Yeah. Because like at least 3 times he said, the U.S. will defend Taiwan. And then the White House was like, actually, we're not changing our
And then
Taiwan
he
policy.
called Xi Jinping a dictator.
He did.
So he does have those good instincts. He just has to fight the State Department.
What did the most recent thing? He at a fundraiser last week.
He called it the China's Belt and Road. He called it like the Belt and Noose.
It was actually the Debt and Noose.
Oh, well, that's even more clever.
It's even more clever than the Belt and Noose, huh? Yeah.
Well, I mean, a belt you could use as a noose. David Carradine. Oh, let's not go down that rabbit hole.
No. Okay. Yeah. First of all, okay.
So Biden's aware of that, and he's absolutely right to call it out.
He called it the Debt and Noose, and he also said something about how China is a ticking time bomb or something because of their economic crises.
And he said that like when I'm getting this probably a little wrong, but it's like when bad things happen to bad people, they do bad things.
Oh, yes. Something like that.
Yeah. But he was calling them bad people.
Yes.
Which is great. And it is different than like the Trumps.
He also said that like we don't want to like we're not going after China. Like that's not the purpose. Like we're not going after China, but like,
it is a little confused.
Where it's kind of like suddenly he remembered what the talking points were supposed to be.
Yeah, it is interesting. But it was also interesting to hear Trump talk about China because it was like, we're talking massive trade war. They've been screwing us. I love Xi Jinping. He's a great guy.
I mean, it's because Xi Jinping treated him to like 3 hours of Chinese opera in the Forbidden City.
Yes, if there's any way to win over Trump, it's with extended opera.
Chinese opera specifically.
Yeah.
But that's one of those things that the president has to balance, right? Like if you just go on the attack against another country or its leadership, a president might feel like that's not really an advantage. Like I think, so Biden taking an approach like, we're not trying to do this to China. We're just doing these policies for national security, right? And Trump praising Xi Jinping might have had very different, but in a similar vein, it's like allowing Xi Jinping to save face, sort of, so it doesn't rock the boat unnecessarily. Now, I'm not saying I agree with that, but I think that is the calculus that presidents make.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard to tell how the Communist Party actually receives the message because they don't think like U.S. officials.
Well, I think that's the problem with the State Department's approach is like if you base things on trying not to like piss the CCP off, like trying to be like, oh, like don't anger China, don't do these things that will cause them to become more aggressive. That's just a losing policy because you cannot control what the CCP does by trying to appease them.
Yes.
Okay. I thought there was more coming.
There was, but then I think I was formulating a response and I stopped listening to what you were saying.
Okay.
And so then I realized my response didn't matter.
It didn't matter. Okay. Connect. I was just saying it's like a bad relationship. You can't fix the other person.
So I feel like there's some undercurrent between what you're saying about you and I, Shelley.
What? Mm-hmm. No. What?
Is like some toxic relationship thing going on?
Possibly. Like
what happened while I was in the pocket dimension?
There was an evil goateed Shelley that showed up. Really tried to undermine the team. Really, the goatee should have tipped me off that something was wrong.
Was it like a marker goatee?
Yeah.
Is that from Star Trek where there was like
Star
evil
Trek started
Spock?
that.
Yes.
Evil Spock. Was everyone from the pocket dimension or the evil dimension goateed, or was it just Spock? I think it was just Spock. But
That would be hilarious if everyone was goateed.
yeah.
Oh.
Well, I mean, that's essentially the joke about Star Trek. Like on TV tropes, they have the the everybody wears a hat planet.
Mhm.
That's how like Star Trek and shows like that work. It's just like, okay, here's a planet, and they all are this one thing. They have this one characteristic because otherwise it gets to be a little complicated. So yeah, evil dimension. Everyone has a goatee.
There you
Simple.
go.
That's if Xi Jinping had a goatee. If all the Chinese officials had goatees, I think
then
things would have been a
that
lot
would be
clearer.
clear.
No, they were
Yeah.
evil. Yeah, there'd be no mistake.
Mhm.
But all those clean-shaven officials, you can't tell. Maybe they're just benevolent technocrats.
That must be it.
That's why there are no women in the leadership positions of the Chinese Communist Party, because they can't grow a goatee.
And therefore cannot not have a goatee. Because like if you could have a goatee, then it's clear that by not having one, you're not evil.
Yeah.
But if you can't grow a goatee, I mean that's the problem with women in general. Like are they evil? Are they not? You can't tell because they can't grow goatees.
I'm suddenly picturing Carrie Lam with a goatee. That's where my mind went.
Oh, Shelley, I think the radiation from that CERN line.
I told you, very tired.
Really? Wow. Okay. So to actual information for our lovely audience who's bearing with our digressions, click like if you like our digressions. Click like if you don't like our digressions, and we will parse that out and cut what
We'll
you
know.
don't like.
Yeah, we'll know.
We know. Secret YouTube analytics, something. So yeah, the Biden administration has been, to give them some credit, very good about understanding some of the tech, sanctions that the U.S. government should be doing to China. Like we really shouldn't be giving them, secret technology to make their military awesome and powerful to be used against us at some point.
When you put it like that, it's almost like having a goatee. Like it should be as obvious as that. When you say we shouldn't be giving their military high tech, yeah.
Hey, should we be giving China all these semiconductors to make U.S. aircraft destroyer missiles? I don't know. Those missiles don't have goatees. I can't tell
if they're evil missiles.
Are they really going to be used against U.S. aircraft carriers? I mean, that's what's in the name, but no goatee. Anderson full screen missile with a goatee. Thank you.
So Biden is looking at issuing an executive order that's going to prevent U.S. companies from selling some of this sensitive technology.
Well, technically, he's already signed the executive order, but it's going to take...
There's a 45-day...
public comment
period, where by public comment, it means big corporations with interests are going to try to water it down as much as they
can. Don't worry,
Matt.
Don't worry, because the big corporations with interests have already been consulted, according to the article I read in the New York Times. So,
And I will just throw this out. There does seem to be a shift in big corporations and even Wall Street on China.
Really?
Well, yeah.
This happened while I was in the pocket dimension?
Yeah. China is no longer the U.S.'s biggest trading partner. It's now Mexico. A lot of manufacturing and industry has been moved to Mexico. A lot of not BlackRock so much, but a lot of other Wall Street companies are getting bearish on China or withdrawing funds.
And here's another thing. I was in a Cracker Barrel recently, and
all right, are you ready for expert analysis? Here we go.
Well, no, like I had this idea a few years ago about doing a Cracker Barrel index, where you go into a Cracker Barrel and you see like how much stuff is made in China versus made in other countries.
I feel like it could also be like the dollar store index or something. Essentially, is what you're saying.
But
but then you don't get to go to Cracker Barrel.
Exactly, and Cracker Barrel is its own reward. So, but this last time I saw substantially more products made in Vietnam and other non-China places compared to, I remember we were in a Cracker Barrel in like 2017, Chris, in Florida, and it was just like 95% made in China.